Here, let's talk about, instead of Hollywood revenue, let's talk about the revenue of someone else. Elon motherfucking Musk, the greatest, the billionaire, the smartest billionaire, the greatest billionaire. Oh, God, he's so good. He's so brave. Guess what? Elon Musk, if you guys recall, was forced by a commerce court in Delaware to actually purchase Twitter. He didn't want to purchase Twitter. He wanted to. He claimed he wanted to purchase it for a meme at a laughably high price, but then he wanted to back out, and it didn't work out, and he ended up having to purchase the goddamn company. And now he's out $44 billion. Now, of course, because he is the smartest, sexiest, most intelligent billionaire in a sea of other billionaires, or at least that's what their fucking fanboys are telling me, I expected Elon to immediately yield tremendous returns on his investment of $44 billion. Except, no, that's not what happened. Oh, no. Twitter's advertising revenue has halved since Elon Musk took over.
Relatively new owner of Twitter, Elon Musk, has revealed that it's lost more than half of its advertising revenue since he bought the platform last October. Twitter currently has around $13 billion worth of debt, which is due to be repaid by the end of July. It's also facing rising competition from Threads, which launched earlier this month and now has 150 million users. We're joined now from New York by our North America business correspondent, Michelle Fleury. Michelle, Musk can be remarkably candid at times, can't he? How serious is this loss of ad revenue, do you think?
Well, I think what we're seeing here is a sort of casting of doubt on a statement he made to the BBC, to one of my colleagues earlier this year, in which he said that most of the advertisers had returned to the company after he'd purchased it. That perhaps may not be so true if this kind of loss of revenue on that kind of scale is indeed happening. And it poses a problem for him because this deal cost him $13 billion in debt. He has to keep financing that. And so, as he said in a tweet, over the weekend, they don't have the luxury to focus on anything else but getting cash flow. We've seen past attempts trying to monetize on the idea of people buying blue ticks. But the problem is there hasn't been enough of that, it hasn't generated enough revenue. And so it's a real challenge for Mr. Musk, but also for Linda Yaccarino, who's the CEO he appointed to come in and try and shore up the business, and whose background comes from the advertising sector at NBC Universal. She is reportedly in sort of conversations with influencers, with celebrities, trying to encourage them and also trying to sort of encourage the creator kind of class, if you like,
Sure,
to come on the site and kind of post videos and content.
And on top of all those pressures, the Facebook...
Elon said Zuck was a cuck. Megaphonics is back, dude. Megaphonics is so back. We're talking about Elon Musk, and he is so confident about the situation that he sent me his own fucking tweet. His own tweet. That's crazy. Megaphonics is popping. An example of a great interaction between brands, McDonald's and Axe. Oh God, it's so funny. It's so funny, man. Look, he's trying to glaze up as many people as he possibly can. Like every corporate advertiser, he's like, oh, it's great. It's so great. Please. Please, guys, please. Please stay here. Biden's social media team got community notes nuked twice today. Same happens to me. Right-wing accounts and even advertisers. Latter not good for revenue. Sigh. Super close to realizing that a fact-checking system ran exclusively by disgruntled ex-Redditors isn't actually a good idea. I think it's great. I think it has been a tremendous improvement. It's probably the only good thing about Twitter has been the community notes. Not gonna lie. I'm a fan. It's probably the only good thing he's brought up. Oh, speaking of which, hold on. Let's cover his losses, and then afterwards we'll bring in, a big business expert. Obviously, I am a fucking dumb socialist, commie, grifter, hypocrite living in a fucking $7 gazillion mansion in West Hollywood. Instead, what do I know about business? I know nothing. Instead, we need to bring in a big, brave, bold, beautiful capitalist who's never actually succumbed to NFTs or any sort of grifts, like real grifts. Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary V is, of course, who I'm referencing. We're gonna go to him in a second.
Facebook owner Meta trying to eat Twitter's lunch, launching its own version of Twitter, Threads, 150 million signups in just the last few weeks. How are we any the wiser now as to just how much of a threat Threads poses to Twitter?
Look, I mean, there are a couple of sites that kind of track usage of social media platforms, and Twitter does appear by those metrics to have taken a hit since the arrival of Threads. But, there's a shiny new object, as it were. People are excited about it. The question is, does that continue? And I think that's going to be the key issue, certainly for Twitter going forward. Does that bleeding continue, or is it just kind of, a momentary thing, in which case it'll recover and be fine? You have to remember that Twitter is a very vibrant social media platform that is very hard and difficult to replicate. Threads, because of its inbuilt connection with Instagram and that audience, kind of gets off to a big start. And so people are seeing it as a potential real challenger. But again, I think we have to wait and see how things develop. Do people stay with it? Do they continue to use Threads? Or do the two continue to coexist as kind of different things, one being a more political site, the other one a place for sort of happier content, which is what Threads initially, that seems to be kind of its secret sauce.
Okay, Michelle Fleury in New York, thank you.
It's not Threads that is breaking Twitter. It's Twitter that is breaking Twitter. It's Elon motherfucking Musk breaking Twitter. But what do I know? Like I said, I've only been right from the jump that this was going to be a gigantic fuck up and a failure. But of course, I was not alone. There were other equally dumb, stupid, not corporate understanding, woke socialists out there who was saying the same thing. So let's hear from a different side. Let's hear from a guy who is bold, who is brave, who is brilliant. Gary Vaynerchuk. Twitter as a product is dramatically better under Elon Musk, says Gary Vaynerchuk.
Threads had quickly gained over 100 million signups, drawing the interest of multiple companies, digital marketing agencies, and advertisers. Businesses that have stopped advertising on Twitter over brand safety concerns are excited about the possibility of advertising on Threads. But reports this morning that Threads is seeing a massive engagement.
For those of you who don't know who Gary V is, he is a classic grifter, con man, but for some reason he has been able to stay above board, unlike like the Tai Lopez's of the world. Where he has mainstream recognition. He also owns like mainstream properties as well. But for the most part, he's like a big NFT guy. He's a big Sigma Grindset guy. And yeah, that's it. Let's hear what he has to say about this.
Drop off, we're hearing, since its blockbuster launch, with users spending 50% less time on the app than a week ago. Joining us now to discuss the state of the digital ad market is Gary Vaynerchuk, VaynerX chairman. I guess with that lead in, Gary, did you join Threads? Do you like it? Has your engagement gone down? Do you think Twitter needs an alternative, a kinder, gentler alternative?
Good morning, first of all. I joined Threads. I like Threads. I think competition is good. I don't know if it's a kinder, gentler thing. I think all of these places start off very kind and gentle. When I was on Twitter in 2007 to 2010, it was the kindest, most aspirational, joyous place. These are not platforms that are creating these places to be less joyous. These are human beings.
Guys, the Patriots rose up. They finally put Gary Vaynerchuk in prison, okay? That's it. He's actually reporting. They won't tell you in the news, but he's actually reporting from his prison cell. He's in a Supermax facility.
Being exposed.
They had to sneak in this camera in someone's asshole so that Gary Vaynerchuk could join live.
For who we actually are at times of frustration or fear or concern. These are empty pipes. Threads is empty. Twitter is empty. We as humans are filling them. So,
wow. so beautiful, dude.
I'm not sure about that part.
What's the answer, though, Gary? I mean, it's the question we argue about every day. I didn't like the old Twitter. I don't want someone saying you can't see what's in this pipe, telling me that.
Yeah, I mean,
I want to let me see it, and then I'm a big boy. I can take it. Actually, I don't like what people say. I can't take it. But in general, I want to see what people are saying.
Well, you can. I mean, this is
the new Twitter. I couldn't on the old Twitter. I couldn't see anything about Wuhan and the origination.
Yeah, I want to know about Wuhan, China virus, dude. What the fuck? What the fuck? What is he saying?
I couldn't see anything about that said something about. Huh? I could not. I couldn't see the Babylon Bee. I couldn't see.
You could follow.
My man said I couldn't see the Babylon Bee. He's like, how am I going to get my fucking content? You know? How am I going to get my good ass content in the form of Babylon Bee? Ay, ay, ay. These guys are such fucking freaks, man. Holy shit.
And you want these algorithms that people love to complain about, you have much more control over them than you think. You can click on anybody's file.
I barely am able to I'm not on Threads because I'm not sure how I would do it. I've never been on Instagram, so it's my fault, maybe.
Joe, this is the big punchline, brother. We love to blame platforms and we hate to blame ourselves. When you said earlier, what's the answer to a kinder, better place? How about parenting? How about civility becoming a bigger part of our conversation? How about the people in public forums knowing how to handle someone seeing the world slightly different than them? This is not about apps and tools. This is about humanity and where it sits and where we are as a society.
Oh, geez, Gary. I mean, to hope for a higher standard is, you could be hoping for a while. I'm not sure that's going to happen.
By the way, that's fine. But then let's stop pointing fingers and let's start pointing thumbs, right? Like I can tell you right now, my Twitter and Threads experience is phenomenal because I choose to be practical and optimistic. I'm not delusional. I'm not, in fairyland, but I choose to see the opportunities. I choose to be entrepreneurial. I choose to be on the offense. I choose to not dwell on stuff that I can't control. And I definitely have no interest in tearing down other people or other operations or CEOs or businesses to make myself feel better. There's two ways to build the biggest building in town. One, tear down everybody else's buildings. Two, just be good enough to build the biggest building. I choose the latter.
Do you think
dude, this is the problem. When you ask Gary Vaynerchuk to answer for anything, it still turns into, because he's like a con man, it still turns into him glazing himself up. Like, it's just like pseudo intellectual, supposedly inspiring nonsense. Like, it's just, yeah, it's exactly. This man is perma TikTok podcaster speak. Yeah. The only other kind of permanent TikTok podcaster method of speaking that doesn't revolve around how everything is owned by BlackRock and Vanguard and it's all pedophiles. They're doing pedophilia through your stocks. If you own a piece of Vanguard, that means you also are technically, without realizing, supporting pedophilia through Vanguard and BlackRock, the Rothschilds. They're doing woke ESG. They're doing woke ESG, BlackRock and Vanguard.
We said that advertisers were excited about Threads because they're not excited about Twitter, or they think
advertisers weren't excited about Meta 12 months ago. You know that. You guys covered that extensively. Advertisers love to posture in headlines, but in reality, advertisers, if they were smart and actually understood where consumer attention was, they'd be advertising. Threads doesn't have an ad product yet, but it will. They'll advertise on Threads, they'll advertise on Twitter, they'll advertise on YouTube and Snapchat and Facebook and Instagram and the emerging fast channel OTT providers, what Roku's brewing.
Wasn't that your same argument with XUC going to Kick? That's awesome. I said Kick is owned by pedophiles? Is that what you think I said? They're doing, or are you, oh my God, it's awesome. Dude, you are so dumb. You are so fucking dumb. It's like scientists need to study your brain. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for this take. Yes. BlackRock and Vanguard owning a piece of everything, or at least like taking your money and putting it into other corporations, okay? Like pretty much a piece of everything, just a small piece, not never like a controlling interest in many circumstances, okay? And then supposedly implementing a woke ESG policy, which is quite literally, one, not really true, and two, completely devoid of the profit motive, is the same thing as a crypto gambling casino creating a streaming platform after they got banned from Twitch for marketing, so they could basically dump their marketing budget into creating a streaming platform with maybe some returns on investment in the form of additional people going in gambling. That is identical. Indirectly correlated. Yeah. Bro is in 4th grade. I know.
On their ad front, if advertisers were smart,
I think I'm talking to a 12-year-old in that situation.
Majority of their money on modern social platforms where actual consumer attention is, and they would rethink running commercials on television, print, outdoor, and other places where they waste extraordinary amounts of money on potential.
American leftists are the biggest gatekeepers. No one is revolutionary enough for people who literally cannot even organize in their workplace. I mean,
awareness versus actualized reach.
All right, so this Elon Musk bought Twitter. It's better now, or he's ruined it?
The product is dramatically better. He's innovated the product more in the first.
Explain how. That's like the whole point of this fucking video. Wait, God damn it. We got clickbaited. Listening to Gary Vee for like 5 minutes glaze himself up.
Year than it had for a long time.
How?
I think the reality of the product versus the reality of the conversation are two different things. Not to mention, I don't know how a single person that actually spends time on Twitter doesn't realize that the temperament is a heck of a lot more calm and chill than it was 3 years ago.
Gary V's like, bro, you don't understand. Twitter's so much better now that end wokeness, the fucking, the open white supremacist account end wokeness is getting paid directly like $100,000 by Elon Musk. You don't understand. Like, I love seeing just unfettered, unrestricted transphobia and white supremacist racism on my timeline. It's so much better now that all the neo-Nazis have been unbanned and all the pedophiles have been unbanned.
Oh, and by the way, preview alert, it's not going to be common.
By the way, preview alert, I love watching fight videos on my timeline, especially when the title is equal lefts and equal rights, equal opportunity. These hands are equal opportunity. And it's like a dude, just like a big dude beating the shit out of a tiny woman, you know? I love those videos. It's so much better now.
Chill next year because it's a presidential election year, and everybody who's watching this, 90% of them are going to be on tilt and emotions are going to run high, and that's the reality of how it works.